When you need to keep your business working, your employees safe, your students learning, when your performers need to keep their cool, you have precious artwork that needs to be preserved, or even if you need to keep an endangered species alive. With Kimpton Energy Solutions, you're in safe hands. We've been providing mechanical and electrical services for a wide range of businesses for over 50 years. Since 1963, Kimpton have grown from a small, family-owned general plumbing and heating business to become one of the most diverse mechanical services and acoustic engineering contractors in the Northwest, if not the UK. Today, the business is focused on 3 key sectors: building services, service and maintenance, and acoustic engineering. We have a broad portfolio ranging from schools, factories, and student accommodation to art galleries, theatres, and even a zoo. If you have a problem with heating, cooling, or noise in the workplace, we can deliver the solution. Our clients range from local independent businesses to some of the UK's top companies. At our head office on the Wirral, we invest heavily in both training and technology to ensure we continuously improve our service to our clients and provide a fulfilling place for our team to work. As a business, we've gained all of the standards and accreditations required to work safely on almost any site in the UK. Our business purpose runs throughout our work: focus on customers. We've always believed that when we gain a customer, we should work incredibly hard to keep that customer. Integrity in everything. Trust is created by building long-term, mutually beneficial relationships. This comes with openness, honesty, and diligence. Teamwork wins. By working together, our team deliver consistent, high-quality projects and strive to get things right, first time, every time. Kimpton Energy Solutions. Together, we're creating the sustainable building environments of tomorrow.
Hi there, my name's Johnny Lyle. I look after the marketing here at Kimpton's, and I'm going to introduce you to some of the characters from the business, and I'm going to ask them 4 main questions: who they are and what their role is within the business, then a little bit about how they got here, what qualifications they've got, and what previous roles they've got. Because one of the things you'll find out is that within a very large plumbing firm like we are, there's not everyone here set out to become a plumber, and not everyone here is a plumber. We've got some really, really different roles, and some people here with really different levels of qualifications. Third question is what they enjoy, what they actually do on a day-to-day basis within their job. And then finally, what they enjoy about the job. And with a few, I've asked them a couple of other little questions around the area as well, and about what they maybe don't enjoy as much about it. So let me introduce you to the characters of Kimpton. Okay, so tell me who you are and what your role is at Kimpton's.
I am Lindsay Sheard. I'm the financial controller at Kimpton's.
And how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
Well, I qualified as a chartered accountant 10 years ago. Prior to that, I went to university and studied law and criminology. Once I qualified, I spent probably 3 or 4 years prior to coming here in different industries. So I worked in London in a couple of consultancies, always project-based businesses. So then when I came here, kind of slotted in quite well with it being project-based as well.
And in your job on a day-to-day basis, what do you mainly do?
So I manage all the day-to-day finances here. I produce the monthly management accounts and the statutory statements at the end of the year. A large part of my job is managing all of the job costs, so making sure that all of our projects are tracking properly and bringing in the profit that we want. So
yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? Making sure that at the end of it we do make a profit. What do you most enjoy about the job?
One thing I love is that I get to be involved in all the different departments of the business, so it's not just a sole role where you sit and have no interaction with everybody. I get to meet with all of the different departments, maintenance, contracts, acoustics, and I've just got a real heavy involvement in everything, so it appeals to my nosy side.
I was just about to say that, yeah, it's like the perfect nosy person's job, isn't it?
It is.
Well, that's very good. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so tell me who you are and what's your role at Kimpton's?
I'm Richard Kimpton. I'm the Managing Director for the group of companies.
And how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
Qualifications, I did an apprenticeship as an electronics engineer for Plessy's Telecom in Liverpool, so I've got an HNC in electronics. I would say that never been particularly academic, struggled through college, always just loved the practical aspects of the job. When I finished my apprenticeship for Plessy's, I found that, I realised I didn't like working in a factory, and decided to get more associated with, or had an opportunity to get more associated with mechanical work and the family business. So it's an aspect I've always enjoyed and an opportunity that I couldn't really pass up. So I hopefully answered the question fully there.
So what did you do at school? What were your...
School, didn't particularly like school. I liked the practical, grammar school educated, so didn't get much opportunity to practice anything particularly practical, but when I did get that opportunity, I always, wouldn't say excelled at it, but enjoyed that much more. So technical drawing was always something strangely that I enjoyed. So I think genuinely I would have benefited more from a comprehensive education than the education I had, and I couldn't wait to get out in the working world at 16. I didn't want to stay for A-levels, but then my apprenticeship took me into a qualification that was equivalent to A-levels anyway, and I was offered a university place that I passed up because I didn't think that I would particularly enjoy university at that point in time.
And were you particularly sporty? Were you part of teams and things at school? Because that seems to be something that's a theme from a lot of the people at Kimpton's.
Yeah, at school, yeah. And any sport that was available. Didn't do much in the summer, but in the winter it was. I was a member of a cross-country team from very early age. When I got too fat for running, started playing a bit of rugby, but always enjoyed team sports. Yeah.
So what do you do in your job on a day-to-day basis?
To be honest, a lot of the days I come in, I haven't got anything that I'm going to do in particular, but this is the sort of job that I don't know who's going to walk through my door, what their issues might be, if there's a customer that needs speaking to, if there's a decision that needs making on a job, then not every time, but more often than not, the bigger projects I'll have minimal involvement in the decision making. I even do little bits of estimates, but very varied bag. So I suppose that's one of the benefits of being the boss. I can pick and choose what I do, and so it makes the days pass.
So what would you say you enjoy most about the job?
I actually like making deals, so I love to see the profit in a job when we get to return it. I like dealing with the people when it comes to decision makers and things like that. I know other people don't like that aspect of it, but I quite enjoy it. And I suppose the sense of security that we're able to provide people when we have profitable work, and that's something I enjoy. And it obviously it has there's a flip side to that coin, because you tend to take jobs on that you think are profitable, and at least 30% of the time you're wrong, because those jobs go wrong and you start losing money. So it's a constant battle trying to find stuff where it's profitable, and then setting it off against the stuff that you've lost money on.
And that's the skill of a good manager director, though, is making sure you can stop the loss and you don't keep making losses.
I don't know whether I can judge myself as a good managing director, but I've been here for long enough. The company survived for decades, well, done best than survived. We've succeeded for decades, but I have seen other companies, peer group companies that have grown significantly, but they haven't stayed the course. So they grow and then they tend to either bust or sell or something, but they're not the same milk as ourselves.
That's it. Thank you very much. What's your name?
Hello, I'm Greg Percival,
Greg, what's your role at Kimpton's?
Electrical Contract Supervisor.
And how did you get here in terms of qualifications and previous roles?
I started actually as a electrical labourer, and then I started an apprenticeship in, I think it was 2002, did a 4-year apprenticeship, and then passed as an electrician, was a foreman on site for a few years, and then did my approved electrician test and inspecting, and then got offered a job as a supervisor role, which I am today.
And what do you enjoy most about the job?
From pre-construction to helping with design, and then building the job and seeing it all come together, it's very rewarding, yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so tell me who you are and what your role is at Kimpton's.
My name's Chloe Bennett and I'm the Maintenance Sales Coordinator here at Kimpton's.
And how did you get here in terms of qualifications and previous roles? Because that doesn't sound like a local accent.
So I got here, first of all, I'm from Middlesbrough, and I studied graphic design at Teesside Uni, and after there I met my partner who's from Bromborough, and we made a few trips up here and decided that it was really nice and wanted to live here. And the rest is history.
And what was your previous role before you actually joined Kimpton's?
So I was a property manager for the Connells Group in Birkenhead, and I managed 3 areas in Derby. Is it Derby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ilkeston, Hucknall, and Eastwood, and
I know all of those very well because that's where I used to live right near there in my last role.
Ah, right. So it was like really challenging role. Dealing with gas leaks, heating issues, and I suppose that's how it's linked into how I got this job. I was always working directly with tenants and landlords, and it integrated well with working for Kimpton's and the energy.
So what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Do you speak to clients or do you speak to suppliers? Do you sort of bring the whole thing together?
I speak to clients. I'm the first sort of point of call, and then we will decide, who's best to go on to the job, and we always have technical staff available to get the proper advice, and we'll log the job and get the engineer there promptly. And I do a lot of the sort of administration role that goes towards it, all the job reports, and can't think.
So you're not a trained plumber though?
No.
So do you need to understand much about plumbing to do the job, or is it you've got the help because you've got the technical people around you as well? If there's anything technical, you can put your hand up and ask for help with it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think they just want a friendly person to sort of answer the phone to, especially if they're in a crisis and they need someone there fast. It's nice to hear a reassuring voice on the other line, knowing that you're going to get the issue dealt with.
And what do you enjoy most about the job?
Well, the thing I enjoy most is that every day is not the same. Like, you come in and there's a new challenge there, and the people that I work with are also dead nice, and it's nice just getting problem solved. I suppose that's what my degree links into. I was interested in problem solving, and this is like working with real life problems and solving them. And
because it's quite interesting that a lot of people have said the job is quite different day to day, but when you look at it from the outside, it looks like you're walking in, sitting at the same desk, facing the same people, with the same computer in front of you and the same telephone in front of you. So the fact that it's different every day, I think is quite amazing. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And is that just because of the types of sort of like crisis problems, issues, opportunities that you face each day?
Yeah, definitely. I think with all the different clients, it's really interesting. You're not going to have the same day every day because people are going to want different things, and there's going to be certain issues, and you've got to work as quickly and as promptly as you can and work together as a team. I think that's
been another really common thread actually.
Yeah.
Everyone said about the team working part of it.
Yeah, I think there's a really good team community here. Everyone wants to help and get involved and help sort the issues out. I think that's definitely something that's good about Kimpton's.
That's great, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Okay, tell me who you are.
Hi, my name's Tom Green.
And Tom, what's your role here at Kimpton's?
I design and produce the manufacturing drawings for the acoustic enclosures.
So how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
So I've got a B.Eng in mechanical engineering and 5 years working offshore experience, and then 2 years as an industrial designer.
So what do you do in your job on a day-to-day basis?
I create all the production drawings for the fabrication of the acoustic enclosures we design, and I do a lot of the structural design for them as well.
So where do these acoustic enclosures go?
They are predominantly used for supergrid transformers on electrical substations.
Okay, and what about your job do you most enjoy?
Taking a project from a piece of paper to it being constructed on site and seeing that process. So it being taken from an idea to a finished product.
Great, thanks Tom.
No worries.
Okay, so who are you and what's your role at Kimpton?
I'm Tim Davis and I'm a General Manager at Kimpton's.
So how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and your previous roles?
Oof. Right from the start, when I was at school I wanted to be a farmer. So I went off to agricultural college, still with that in mind, and then I finished all of my qualifications in engineering as an agricultural engineer, which gave me a mechanical base, and then I applied for a job with a company that built grain storage facilities, and that led me into bulk materials handling and process equipment, the construction of fairly significant projects. Developed a bit of knowledge in civil engineering as well as mechanical engineering as well as process control systems, really through experience, and then left that job, moved into a couple of other roles on project management in the civils field, and then I joined Kimpton's to help them on their acoustic engineering side, which was constructing acoustic enclosures in substations and things like that for the likes of National Grid and SSE and people like that.
So what do you do in your job on a day-to-day basis?
Day-to-day basis, we are developing new enclosure designs. We are we do have an R&D program. We're estimating for new projects, and we're project managing live projects.
And whereabouts are the projects you're running at the moment?
We've got one at the moment running on Moray East Wind Farm. It's probably the largest construction project in Scotland at the moment. And we're putting in 3 supergrid transformer enclosures there, closing in on completion of those.
And final question, what do you enjoy most about your job?
The variety and the people. There's always a new challenge every day, and yeah, we've got a great team at Kimpton, so yeah, enjoy the interaction and the banter.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello, tell me who you are then.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm a junior contract manager at Kimpton's.
So how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
Started out as an apprentice working for Unilever in their data centres where I worked towards a level 4 HNC and MBQ in building services engineering.
And how did you end up at Kimpton's?
I came to the end of my apprenticeship and I've been working with Kimpton's at the data centre, and they offered me a job after my contract ended with Unilever.
And in your job, what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Manage the delivery of mechanical building contracts to basically controlling costs, programming tasks, working with subcontractors and liaising with clients.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
23.
And with your job, what do you enjoy most about it?
Probably the fact that no 2 days are the same. You don't know what you're going to deal with. You have to adapt to the situations, and it always keeps you on your toes.
So even though you're only 23, you've actually got 7 years experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks, Matt. Okay, so tell me who you are and what's your role at Kimpton's?
My name's Anthony Whittle and I'm a mechanical contracts supervisor.
And how did you get here in terms of qualifications and previous roles?
I started off when I was 16, done a level 2 and level 3 plumbing and heating apprenticeship, and then went on just as a craftsman on site for a couple of years, and then got asked to be a foreman at the age of 26. I'd done that till I was 29 and got asked to come into my new role as a supervisor.
And someone told me a little story about how you heard about why you chose plumbing in the first place.
Yeah.
Was that one of your friends talking to you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was mentioning about being a plumber, so I thought, I'll be a plumber as well. We went for it. We're both plumbers now, like.
Yeah. And what do you most enjoy about what do you do in your job on a day-to-day basis?
I produce the risk assessments and method statements for the sites I work on. I visit them weekly, check the standard of work going in, how the lads are getting on day-to-day basis. Attend the weekly meetings on site with the contractors, just iron out any problems or what we need going forward.
So you've learned to do that by being a good plumber then, really?
Yeah, just knowing sites and knowing how to deal with the managers who are dealing with the actual building site.
And what sort of scale of value are the projects you're working on?
Around 40 to 50 million pound. That's the contract. Mechanically, I think we're about 2 million pound on our ones.
Right, and they're in Sheffield and all over the place?
Sheffield and Leicester at the minute, and we've just won another one in Leicester, which we'll be going straight on to in June.
Right. And so what do you most enjoy about your job?
Getting about, really. As I say, I'm up and down the country, so I get to see a lot of places, and also the types of jobs that I've worked on. Ever since I've been a plumber, I've worked on hospitals, building offices, I've worked on landmarks like the Trafford Centre, I've worked all over the place.
And what's it like being away from home all the time, or are you not away too much?
Not too much no more, no, but when I was on the tools working away, I was away 5 days a week, which was... It weren't too good when you've got a girlfriend, like, because you want your own, but it was good getting out, having a little bevy now and then after your day's work.
But it was good as well, because you were living at home at the time, you saved up...
Yeah, I saved a lot of money, so I got all my deposit for my house and obviously paid for my furniture as well, which it helped.
Yeah, That's great. Right, thank you very much. Right, so tell me who you are and what your role is at Kimpton's.
My name is Grace Roberts and I am currently undertaking a business level 3 admin apprenticeship, and my role is a contracts administrator.
So how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
So I started off in sixth form and got 3 A-levels, got business studies, geography and PE, and then I knew I wanted to go on to be an apprentice, so I was looking on the Gov website and came across the Kimpton job, and I thought it was a really good opportunity, and I did a Zoom interview and then a face-to-face interview and I secured the role. And jobs in the past have been in retail and in Countess Chester Hospital in an admin role, which helped me secure this role at Kimpton.
So what is it about the job that you like the look of when you saw it on the .gov website?
I've always been interested in an office-based role. I'm not sure which industry I wanted to go into, but it was just out of luck that I found a role as good as this one at Kimpton.
So how long have you been here?
I started in January, so coming up to my 5th month now.
It's gone quick. So Grace, what does your job entail on a day-to-day basis?
So my main role is to help the estimating manager and business development manager with tasks such as answering phone calls, sending out inquiries for important jobs, updating the estimate log, which contains all of our jobs on, sending out emails to clients, chasing up clients.
And if you had to pull a figure out of thin air about what sort of value of the jobs you're quoting are, what sort of numbers are we talking?
Some go up to 5 million. The most recent job that we've just worked on was just under 5 million.
So that's quite a lot of responsibility. How old are you again?
18.
So you're 18 and you're working on £5 million jobs?
Yeah.
And your role is to pull together a lot of the quotes that come in from other suppliers and make sure they're all logged and make sure they're all accurate?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. And what do you most enjoy about the job so far? I know you're only 5 months in.
I like that every day's different. It's exciting that I've got different jobs going on every day, so it doesn't get boring. It's exciting, and a lot of it's working under pressure to the tender submission dates. And I like working under pressure, as it motivates me more.
And it's quite a male office. How have you coped with being in such a male office? I know it's changing now. There's more female, there's more women joining the team. But how have you coped with that? Because you're A, the youngest, and B, one of the few women here.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I really enjoy it, to be honest. It's funny. We all have a laugh together. Yeah.
And you've been treated very much as an equal.
Yeah, always treated as an equal by the men. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
always.
good. I think that's it. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Okay, so who are you and what's your role at Kimpton's?
Phil Hyam, maintenance contracts manager for the maintenance department.
And how did you get to that particular job in terms of your qualifications, and how did you do at school and previous roles?
I left school with nothing. I didn't have any GCSEs. Made a little bit of a fib here and there to get me onto the apprenticeship here, but I got myself on an apprenticeship.
So, did you first work on site then before you?
So yeah, out on site as a service and maintenance apprentice whilst going to college, and then come out my time and did a good stint on the tools, as they say.
So when you were an apprentice, you were working with like older blokes, more experienced people out in the field?
Yeah. Some not here, not with us anymore, but some of them still here, out in the field, learning from them.
So how old were you when you sort of moved out of that role, do you think?
I would have been 24, 25 when I went out on the tools.
Okay. And so in your job now, you're obviously more office based now.
Yeah.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Everything really, everything from day-to-day running departments, helping call out pricing works for our existing maintenance customers, looking after small contract tenders, and then project managing them, the projects if we win the tenders.
So actually making sure that the job itself.
Yeah, right from start to finish. So from tender submitting all the way through to completion.
And service and maintenance division tends to work in smaller-ish projects, still quite chunky, some of them, aren't they? What sort of scale of project are they?
So it can be anything from replacing one boiler of a bank of 5 or 6 in a large building, or it can be changing all the boilers in one plant room in a school, similar to what we done last year. Residential care homes, we do a lot of boilers for assisted living. We've got a project on at the minute in Birkenhead for changing a load of boilers in 5 plant rooms. So it's varied.
Yeah. So even though, again, I asked the same question for Chloe actually, is like what, even though you're coming into the same desk with the same people around you, the fact that the job is quite varied, even though you're office based, amazes me really.
Yeah, well, I think that comes from being a service and maintenance engineer. I think the ability to adapt, because you get in your car in the morning and you don't know what you're going to. You could be working on a boiler, a booster pump, ventilation, or you could be asked to look at something completely spurious by a client while you're there, and you've got to adapt.
Because that's one of the things I've noticed when I've watched you at work, is that you get clients ringing you up and you can quite often solve technical problems over the phone because you've been out in the field.
Yeah. If the person on the end of the phone has got the right information, sometimes you can. It helps that a lot of the sites that I deal with, I went to on the tools,
right.
So I know what equipment's there. I know enough about it to guide them through. Normally, obviously, you want to get the right person on the job. You want to get an engineer there, but that's not always feasible. So if you can get them going in the meantime, that's what we'll try and do.
And so, what do you enjoy most about the job?
All of it. There's bits that get you down that you've got to be done, but getting them done is the bit you enjoy.
Yeah.
So when you've done the not so appetising parts of the job, that's like it's right, that you can move on to the bit you do enjoy now, or the next challenge, or something slightly different, something bigger, or sometimes you're just glad that you've got the little ones taking you over.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you hate, or there's nothing I hate about my job, but there's things I prefer to do.
Yeah, inevitably there's going to be bits of it you don't love the most. What's that for you? What are the bits you don't enjoy then? Is it like the paperwork part?
A lot of the admin, yeah.
Because we're dealing with gas and electricity, there is a lot of...
Yeah, there is, yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork, so you get it wrong, you kill people.
Oh yeah, basically, yeah. You'd like to think not, but there's a lot of admin work. It's not so simple as just pricing a job. You can't just go to a site, get a list of stuff you need, work out how long it's going to take, and then just go, it's going to cost you this much. There's a lot more to it these days. There's PQQs and this, that and the other, and you've got to do things on the quality side now as well, and prove that you and the company are worth paying to do this job, not just that you can do it on a decent price.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm only just starting to learn.
Yeah.
And understand.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, right. So, tell me who you are and what your role is at Kimpton's.
My name's Matt Breakwell. I'm the Business Development Manager, and I'm responsible for all the sales processes at Kimpton and filling up the order book.
And how did you get here in terms of your qualifications and previous roles?
Well,
starting at school.
Starting at school, I was the first year to ever do GCSEs. We were the guinea pigs. The first bunch of students that did GCSEs. I did 8 GCSEs. I did better in the ones that were exams than the ones that were coursework, because I was very good at cramming for exams and remembering the information. I've got a good memory, but I was terrible at getting myself organised enough to do my coursework. So I just about scraped 4 GCSEs, and then the other 4 I got Bs. Then I went to college to do A-levels. I was planning on being a pilot. I'd been to the training centre at Crane Bank for British Airways and flown a 737 flight simulator. So I was really revved up and wanted to be an airline pilot. And then as soon as I got to college, I realised there was no way on this earth I was going to get a maths A-level. I wasn't bright enough for it. It just wasn't my skill set. I also did A-level physics, which I was doing okay at. I'd been top of my class in GCSEs, but again, I would have needed to work really hard at it, and I found a far more interesting course in music technology. Cut a long story short, because I didn't have the discipline to really push myself hard at college without sort of teachers leaning over my shoulder all the time. I left college with no A-levels and went out and set up my own business. I went into retail, so I went straight out selling footwear on markets and outdoor events, so things like the Cheshire Show and that kind of thing. And I was selling Doc Martens. I was managing to get hold of all the seconds from the factory, so the slightly imperfect ones. At the height of grunge, so when Nirvana were in the charts, I was selling Doc Martens and everybody was wearing them, so that was absolutely brilliant. We couldn't get enough. And I did that for quite a long time. Learned a lot about how people buy and how people get on with each other and building relationships and that kind of thing. And then I moved into property investment. Started doing a bit of buying to let, buying houses, doing them up, selling them on again. From that, I moved into starting a construction business, so I could do up my own houses. Did that for about 10 years, and then went back into retail, started doing some consultancy work, and I worked in a furniture shop for 3 years, managed that for a brand new furniture shop. And then I moved to Liverpool to work for a company called Warmer Energy, and I worked as their business development manager to help them grow the business. And then I left there, I got a call from Richard Kimpton and asked to come in for interview. Spoke to them and we discussed how I could help grow Kimpton's business, and I've been here ever since.
One of the things you said to me a while back was that when you were running your construction firm, you were looking out the window of your place in Wales, looking at your mates out having fantastic fun, and your mates who were labourers and people working on sites who were not earning anywhere near the money you were, but were actually on a Friday afternoon were sitting out on their paddle boards or out on a rowing boat, out on the canoe, out on a kayak, having a whale of a time, and you were saying, I wish I was doing that.
Having your own business isn't, some people think being your own boss is great, and that means you can knock off when you want and take holidays when you want, but what it can actually mean is taking an awful lot of responsibility and an awful lot of pressure. I had 25 staff.
So you effectively had to pay their mortgages?
I paid all their mortgages before I paid my own, yeah, absolutely. So that was a lot of pressure. And I remember sitting in the office at 7 o'clock at night on a glorious summer's evening looking at, working through all the paperwork and trying to get the money paid in, to get the wages bill paid on the Friday, and looking on Facebook and seeing my mates paddling around the harbour in a little old kayak that I'd bought with a couple of cans and taking selfies and thinking, what am I doing here? That looks fun. That looks far more fun. So it was that point I decided I didn't want my own business anymore, and I'm much happier working for somebody else. I do my job, and as long as I do my job well, then I can knock off on a Friday and go and enjoy myself and stop worrying about it all weekend.
He said with his camper van parked outside in the car park, ready to go straight off to Wales after work.
Yeah, doing a bit of kite surfing this weekend, hopefully. Might even get a bit of paddleboarding done if the weather stays nice.
So what do you do in your job on a day-to-day basis?
Mostly my job is building relationships with new or existing clients. So it's about sort of helping our customers to understand what we do, so that they know what we can help them with, and make sure we get all the inquiries that we can from them. What we don't want is a customer thinking we only do small jobs when we do much bigger jobs, and making sure we get all those opportunities. It's looking for new customers, speaking to people, letting them, and helping people understand what we do. So a lot of it's about building relationships, finding, identifying who we'd work well with, and trying to get them to sort of know us and trust us enough to sort of to use our services on their jobs.
So go back to your time at school. Were you like that at school? Were you the one who built relationships? Were you the one who sort of like was like team leader, sort of like had a gang around you, had a team of supportive people who did your bidding a little bit?
I like being in charge. I had, I think when I was 6 years old, I had my own little gang, and I made everybody badges to wear, and which is quite embarrassing and tragic now when I think about it. But I was running, I I did like organising stuff. I did like getting everybody together. I was running the local youth club. Our youth club folded. I lived out in the countryside in Shropshire, and our youth club folded, and I took it on, and we ran it out of a mobile home at the bottom of the garden, and we used to have sort of 20 kids round every week. And by the time I was 17, and I got, I had a van for running my business, and we used to take them off everywhere, all over Wales, and I remember taking them to concerts, everybody bouncing around in the back of the van on cushions. It was really, really unsafe and probably illegal, but we did all sorts. So yeah, I've always enjoyed people's company.
Is that what you enjoy most about your job now then?
Yeah, I do, and it's one of the things I've missed when we've all sort of been in lockdown and working from home. I really miss, we have good fun in the office. Everybody works really hard, but we all get on really well, and we have good fun. And I do miss that. If I work from home too much, I get really sick of my own company, and I like to get in the office and be around everybody. Definitely.
All right. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
So now you've met some of the characters. That's only a small cross-section of the team here. We've got quite a big team. There's around about 70 full-time staff, or 70 or 80 full-time staff within the Kimpton business. And what you probably will have noticed that there's some different characters. There'll certainly be there's a lot of them have joined us with very different level of experiences. There's a few degrees floating around. There's quite a lot of degrees floating around. There's quite a lot who haven't got degrees. But not many of them set out to become or work in a plumbing or mechanical services business like ours. All of them have taken different routes to get here. But there's a couple of common threads I thought that really came through. One, that most of them are really keen and talk a lot about working in the team, about how much they enjoy working in a team. The second one I thought that came through was that how varied people said their role was, even though they were actually working in an office environment. And that to me was quite a surprise, because I suppose I've never noticed it myself, in that a lot of the time I'm in an office, day after day. Luckily I get out quite a lot as well, but still it's really varied. You get to do lots of things. Like some days I get to produce a video, other days I have to sort of like write copy and write blogs and do those sorts of things as well. But there's lots of ways of doing it. We look for people who work hard and who are actually prepared to learn. I thought the telling point for me was Phil Hyam towards the end. He has been here a long time. He's been here since he was an apprentice, and yet he still said that he's having to learn new skills now. So the thing for me is, when you leave school, you don't stop learning. That's when you really start to learn. You get into work, and then you really, really start to learn. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, I'll put a slide now which will give you our contact details, and best of luck. And thank you.